16.0, board discussion.
I had a few things I wanted to talk about. So we are 4 months in, and we have been learning a lot over the last few months. And I know I'm ready to get some work done. I hope you guys are too. And I know it's not always easy to have discussions when we're up here, but this is part of the job, and board discussion is where we're supposed to get work done. So I'm hoping we can have some dialogue tonight. So I'm going to start off talking about the levy. I'm very concerned about opportunity costs associated with prolonging a levy. We need to move fast so we can plan for next year. Waiting to propose a levy might be fiscally irresponsible, as it'll require a higher millage amount and may not last as long. We can look at future efficiencies and way to right the financial situation as a reduced spending, or such as reduced spending and budget planning. Every year we prolong means significant staff cuts, larger class sizes, and a higher levy amount. This entire situation could potentially spiral out of control. And if I'm hearing things correctly from the administration, we need a levy right now, and we shouldn't be waiting till next year. But what I would also like to see is the district move into more long-term financial sustainability, such as consolidating down to maybe one high school or consolidating some elementary schools, maybe both. Selling the central office is another option, as it's prime real estate, and we might be able to do this immediately to help curtail some of the financial burden. Another option that we've talked about is potentially eliminating all-day kindergarten or going back to offering half-day. We're losing money in this area, which means we can either charge more per pupil or eliminate it altogether. And then I know many people in this district had been through financial hardships over the last year with rising fuel prices and realized inflationary pressures. So adding extra costs through a levy could put a lot of strain on families in this community. So I'm open to looking at all cuts that don't impact the classroom, but I think this is something that we need to be discussing out in the open with everyone. Those are my thoughts.
I'm all for forming a board committee to look at redistricting, reconsolidating, however we want to do it. I don't know how everybody else feels.
I'd agree to that.
Be a long-term plan for that.
Yeah, I agree. We are looking at all different options. Nothing is off the table. So, I mean, that shouldn't be a surprise to people. We've been in many meetings with administration and Scott, and just learning as much as we can to make the right decisions. And we're putting a lot of time and effort into it. So we want to make sure that we're making the right decisions. And everything that we're talking about, I like the idea of putting together a committee so that we can kind of consolidate some of, we can get public input and get people together so that they can have their input as well, and just kind of move forward with that.
I share your same concern about delaying a levy, because we are going to have to come back and ask for money, highly likely the following year. And that's going to be a significant number. So a larger number, not the same millage. And I think that's a pretty big ask from the community. As far as consolidation and these things, you know, this has been talked about in this district for a very long time, right? And the board was presented with some plans to consolidate and shown different options from external folks. I really struggle here, because we're going to have to ask for a levy. We're probably going to have to ask for more money even to facilitate that. 10 years ago, I really think maybe that was the time. We just rebuilt to new, or built to new. Wilson's brand new. I struggle with seeing how this all comes to fruition without putting a heavy financial burden on our taxpayers. From an education standpoint, I also have really big concerns about, these mega high schools. Olentangy as an example. Now, today, if we consolidated Turpin and Anderson, our numbers would not be that significant. I think the number that I was told was maybe around 500 to 600 graduates in one class. So I'm not, I think it's in that range is what I was told. But take a look around. Everything's being developed left and right. We have families continually moving in. We're only getting larger. So we would be headed that direction. I can't predict when. I just know that that is something that we need to consider. At the same time, in my life and my just true of who I am, what I like to do when I have to make tough decisions is have every single option laid out, and that includes the bad ones, the ones that I don't like or that I don't want to see. So I'm perfectly fine with the idea of saying, or forming a committee or whatever it is to review all of those options, even the ones I don't like, because they are an option, period. I just have really strong concerns about what that really looks like in the long term. When I met with, the team that talked about the consolidation, there was also a comment about potentially needing another bond, and we already have. The bond before was way before my time even, and there's still distrust over how that was managed. So we're talking about a levy. We're talking about taking away elementary schools probably because we have 6, which, I don't want to lose my elementary school. And I guarantee every parent probably doesn't want to lose their elementary school. And maybe there are going to be concerns about a single high school, right? Like, well, one quarterback, one star of the school play, those are, ancillary issues that we'll have to discuss down the road, I think. But I think that if that's the direction, it needs to be methodical, it needs to be very transparent, and there needs to be a whole lot of discussion, because that's a significant change and impact. And it's hard for me to see it today. That's all I'm saying. But like I said about the options, lay them out all on the table. Let's go through that process if that's what you all intend, and we work it out.
It's one of the better.
Oh,
Go ahead.
I was just going to piggyback off what you said with looking at all the options. I think that I'm interested in looking in the option of consolidation just to see if it makes sense financially long term. And if it doesn't, then it doesn't. But I want to see all the options because one of the things that is concerning to me is that I don't know that this district can sustain levies every 3 years, whether that's the way the state is, how things are formulated here. But looking at other options and outside the box at just what else can we do to help that financial burden in this community would be good.
That's the benefit of the board form committee. It's open to the public. And so they'll be able to see everything that's going on, every discussion we have and every piece of information brought to us.
Sounds good.